What would bow drill be without the bow? We want to look for a bow that's going to be strong and suitable for the task, whereas it's also not too heavy and has the right shape or right bend to it. So here I grabbed a bow that I really like. This is a piece of Japanese honeysuckle. It is about the length of my arm, which is really comfortable. A little longer is fine, a little shorter I like less. It has a slight curve, right? So it's just a very subtle curve coming through, and that's good. If it's too C-shaped, it becomes much more unwieldy and inefficient. So just a slight bend, and that bend is only in one direction. When you start collecting up sticks, you're gonna notice that sometimes they bend this way and then they bend in another way. And so we want that bend just to be in one plane. We also have something that's really strong. I can't break it. And so you wanna test your bows like this. Like if you do this and you break it, that is nothing to be sad about. That means you just saved yourself a whole lot of time. But I can't break this. And it's also not so big, like I'm not trying to move a log, that I'm gonna tire myself out. So this, to me, is a textbook bow. I grabbed some other ones that are crappier. This, 2 C-shaped. This, way too thin. It's gonna flex way too much, and therefore that string is never gonna have enough purchase to rotate that spindle. This has a nice bend and a nice length, but it's way too thick, and therefore it's gonna be really tiring. We're also seeing kind of some multiple bends occurring in here. These are bows that Brad and I use, and so you can really take bows to an elegant craftsman level. These are flex bows of Osage orange, and they do have a little bit of flex in them, but it's very slight. And these are definitely relegated to, you know, having fancy kits. But it's a great way to practice woodworking and kind of incorporate some bow making principles. So we've talked about strength to weight, length, and now we really want to talk about knots. The knots are really important and is something you want to be very comfortable with. So on the top side, and you can see I leave a little branch so it's easy to put my knot on top of. We have a half double fisherman's, and on the bottom we have a clove hitch. This one we're never going to touch once we tie it and put it on, and it's this one that we're going to constantly be adjusting our string with. So I'm going to go over these knots with you. I have this bow right here, much longer than I need, but a really good bow nonetheless. Also Japanese honeysuckle. You don't always need to leave branches. You can split a stick and wrap it. I just find that this is a really simple solution. And on the bottom side, you're gonna see that I've cut this groove here, and that just really helps give the string a place to sit, and therefore it's not moving in on you up and down on the bow, because that's gonna just affect the tension. So it's really easy just to carve a little groove. And so you just wanna choke up on the knife and just make short, steep little cuts. And then you're gonna come back and you're just gonna match them. Doesn't have to be the prettiest thing. It's really just something that creates an anchor, but makes a big difference, because then you're not having to really think about having to grab onto the string as much, as it'll just sit there. So beaver chew that anchor, have your branch up here, and then I'm gonna show you those knots, the half double fisherman's and the clove hitch.